Good evening. An army sergeant accused of trying to murder his wife has appeared in court today. Victoria Cilias fell 4,000 feet and suffered multiple injuries after jumping from a plane in Wiltshire last year. Her parachute failed to open. Her husband is also accused of a second attempt to kill her. Sam Holder reports.
It was here at Netheravon Airfield on the 5th of April 2015 that Victoria Cilias fell 4,000 feet during a skydive when her main parachute failed to open. She somehow survived the fall but suffered serious injuries. Today her husband, Emil Cilias, pictured on the left wearing a grey suit and dark tie, appeared at Salisbury Magistrates Court charged with her attempted murder. Netheravon in Wiltshire is the home of the Army Parachute Association, but it's open to members of the public for skydiving. Emil Cilias is accused of attempting to kill his wife at the site. Mr. Cilias, who's an army sergeant and 36, spoke only to confirm his name, age and address, a military barracks in Aldershot. He's also been charged with another count of attempted murder against his wife. In a separate incident a few days earlier, he's accused of damaging a gas fitting in Mrs. Cilias' home, and that brings also a charge of recklessly endangering other lives. Mr. Cilias' lawyer told the court today that his client will plead not guilty to all the charges. He's now been released on bail, but will appear before Winchester Crown Court on the 18th of November. Sam Holder, ITV News, Netheravon.
A lorry driver was using his mobile phone when he caused a pile-up on the M271, killing 2 people. It's the second time this week a lorry driver has admitted causing a fatal crash because they were distracted by their phone. Rachel Hepworth sends this report.
It was just weeks before Christmas that police were called to a scene described by one rescue worker as total carnage. 3 lorries were involved and crushed between them a Ford Mondeo, carrying 42-year-old father of 2, Eon Callin, and his friend Marion Altenew, who was 36. They died at the scene. A lorry had ploughed into the back of them, driven by 49-year-old Keith Mees from Derbyshire, seen here in the tie. He was distracted while using his mobile phone. His voice cracked with emotion as he appeared at Southampton Crown Court today. Mr. Mees stood in the dock to plead guilty to 2 counts of causing death by dangerous driving and a third of causing serious injury. He was bailed but banned from driving until sentencing later this year, the judge telling him the outcome of this case is inevitable. That will be a custodial sentence, the second time this week that a lorry driver in the south has pleaded guilty to causing death on the roads while being distracted by a mobile phone. On Monday, 30-year-old Thomas Croker from Andover admitted changing music on his phone just moments before he ploughed into a queue of traffic on the A34, killing 45-year-old Tracy Houghton, her sons Ethan and Josh, and her partner's daughter Amy Goldsmith. He too will be sentenced later. The dangers of using a mobile in any vehicle are long established, but for those driving a 30-ton lorry, the risks to others can be even greater, as incidents like these show.
They're totally shocking, and the Road Haulage Association send their thoughts out to the families of all those concerned. Mobile devices should not be used and must not be used, you know, that whether they're using them for a telephone or, as a lot of them are doing, as for music. They clearly are a distraction, illegal and a danger to road safety.
And whatever the legal sanctions, there's living with the knowledge that people have died as a result of your actions. Rachel Hepworth, ITV News in Southampton.
In other news tonight, a Royal Marine from Southampton has been warned he's facing a jail term for stealing firearms, grenades and thousands of rounds of ammunition from a military base in Poole. 43-year-old Martin Shannon was said to be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and admitted 15 offences at the Old Bailey. Police investigating the death of a 7-year-old boy who was struck by a car in Poole say the driver wasn't speeding. The boy, who's been named locally as Toby, was hit while walking to school on Sherburn Crescent in Camford Heath on Wednesday. The driver, who was a woman in her 50s, has not been arrested. More than £7,000 has been raised to pay for funeral costs. Now, 21 years after his death, a fresh inquest will take place into how Private Sean Benton died at Deepcut Army Barracks in Surrey. The 20-year-old from Hastings was found with 5 bullet wounds to his chest at the base in 1995. An original inquest ruled he'd taken his own life, but his family say the truth was covered up. John Rah reports from the High Court in London.
Today's judgment here at the High Court granting a fresh inquest into the death of Sean Benton took less than 10 minutes to deliver. But it's a judgment Sean's family had to fight for 20 years. Sean was the first of 4 young soldiers to die of gunshot wounds at Deepcut Barracks between 1995 and 2002, killed by 5 bullet wounds to the chest. Suicide, said the military police, the army, the Ministry of Defence and the Surrey coroner at the time, after a controversially brief inquest. Today, Sean's brother and sister, supported by the civil rights pressure group Liberty, finally won their fight for a fresh investigation.
The underlying issue is that this was a death that occurred on military property and it was investigated by the military police originally. And that meant that it was a number of very important lines of inquiry were not followed. A lot of the young recruits who were young recruits at the time of Sean, they are now obviously middle-aged people. Many of them will no longer be in the army. We hope that a lot of those people will come forward if they feel that they've got important and relevant evidence in relation to what happened to Sean.
In a statement, Sean's twin brother Tony and his sister Tracy Lewis say, "For more than 20 years we've waited for a thorough, independent investigation into what happened to Sean. Because of that terrible delay, our parents are no longer alive to see this day. We have always been tormented by thoughts of what Sean went through at Deepcut. If his death had been properly investigated from the start, they say, we would have been saved years of uncertainty and pain, and this should be a source of great shame to the British Army and the Ministry of Defence. We really welcome today's decision and we look forward to finally finding out what happened to our brother." The new inquest will be held within a year, and hopefully, says Liberty, it will bring answers after 2 decades of what it describes as stonewalling, silence and suspicion. John Rah, ITV News at the High Court.
£50,000 worth of hot tubs have been stolen from a garden centre in West Sussex. Thieves have broken into Squires on the busy A24 in Washington twice in the last week and made off with 4 hot tubs. The garden centre says it's crippled the business.
We believe they used some shopping trolleys from the garden centre which they'd stolen from within part of the centre to take the hot tubs out. And when they returned this week, they actually brought their own trolleys, we can see from the CCTV. The biggest hot tub they've taken is over 500 kilos. And it's an astronomical thing to move out of the way. So the guys have been extremely fast, in and out within 10 minutes with a hot tub.
Finally tonight, Francis Benali is nearly there. He's now been to 40 of the 44 clubs on his incredible fundraising mission. He's running a marathon every single day, followed by 75 miles on his bike, and he's doing that for a fortnight. He started at AFC Bournemouth and he's now been around the country, hitting London today, it's Brighton tomorrow, and he's finally finishing on Sunday at Southampton. And all the money raised will go towards Cancer Research UK. It's just an incredible feat, and we'll be there when he finishes on Sunday. Now, what does the weather have in store over the weekend? With the details, is Simon.
From sleet to the slopes, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Good evening and brace yourself for a bit of tricky weather this weekend. Bit of a change on the cards and we are going to see some showers at times, maybe if you're lucky an odd rainbow too, but blustery showers. Temperatures though are going to be on the up. It won't feel quite as cold as it has been. The low pressure is spinning around to the southwest, pushing various weather fronts our way, and that means bands of rain, bands of showers, but we're also dragging in mild air from the south, and that means temperatures will be higher than they have been. For tonight we've seen a few few showers around, a lot of dry weather for the rest of the night. A few clear spells, perhaps a bit of patchy mist here and there too. Temperatures not bad either, around 10, 11 degrees, down to around 8 or 9 in some rural spots. And then first thing tomorrow morning, you can see there will be a few showers out towards the west first thing. A lot of dry weather and plenty of sunshine pushing through, and the temperatures will creep up quite nicely in that sunshine. By the afternoon, we're looking at highs of around 15, maybe even 16 degrees. That's 61 in Fahrenheit, considerably warmer than we've seen recently, and it'll be windy as well. Winds of around 25 miles an hour along the coast. But through tomorrow evening, this heavy rain develops, pushing its way north and eastwards, cleared by around 10 o'clock.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
And that's all from us for tonight. We're back at 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. But from me and from all of us here on the Late Team tonight, good night.